My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Series 75 Kalisto. And so here we have Kalisto posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Kalisto does come with 3 pairs of hands. We do get a giant pair of grip hands. We do get a giant pair of open hands. And then we do get a pair of pointing fingers. He also does come with his Lucha House Party shirt. And then finally, he gets a noisemaker, which I am really surprised that the noisemaker actually spins, so that's really nice. Moving that off to the side, Kalisto doesn't come with anything else, unfortunately, so let's actually take a closer look at Kalisto. And so here we have a closer look at Kalisto. Now, I do like the sculpt on this figure, don't get me wrong, this is a really nice head sculpt. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't use the Real FX technology, he's hand painted, which it's not bad, but you can see in the eyes, they just didn't get the right eye correct, and it is a little bit jarring when you have one eye open and then one eye looking like he got punched in the face and his eye swelled shut. Really do like the detailing on the mouth. I think that's something that they did a really good job on. You can see his teeth are painted all the way back in his mouth, as well as the top row of his teeth. And they actually did sculpt the inside of his mouth. That's actually something that you really don't expect companies to do. Really do like the goatee. But like I said, it's an okay head sculpt. They don't use a Real FX technology, and there are some things to like about it. The entire mask sculpt is really nice. I do like the paint applications on it. Now, unfortunately on mine, you can see some paint slop right here. There's some gold where it shouldn't be, missing some of the magenta. It's kind of sloppy in some places. But that's to be expected with domestic figures. They're not going to be 100% accurate. Again, we do have a chip of paint right there. On the back, really do like the dragon decal on the back of his mask. It looks really nice. Then we go on to his low flap. I don't know what you would really want to call this, but it does appear like it says dragon, although that is wrong if it's supposed to say dragon. I don't know what it's supposed to say, but it does appear like it's almost close to dragon. So yeah, the head sculpt on him is really good, and I do like that. And the top part of his mask is made of a softer plastic, so I do appreciate that little detail. Having a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at his back first, because his back, he has some really nice tattoos going on. Really, really enjoying those tattoos, and you can see they do come to the front a little bit. We do have another dragon decal, and this is where I think Mattel dropped the ball. I feel like this could have been a separate piece. This entire armband should have been a separate piece, and it should have been like Rey Mysterio's armbands, but unfortunately they painted it on, and though it does look nice, you break up the sculpt every time you move the arm, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but the tattoos are done really nicely. Really do like his armbands here. They do have the dragon, and it looks like he's breathing gold fire going all the way around the armband. That looks good. Now let's talk about his hands. Those are some giant hands, I'm not gonna lie. Look at the size of his forearm. Then look at the size of his hands. That's like a baseball mitt on his hand. Look at how terrible that looks. Mattel does have smaller hands. Unfortunately, they're not interchangeable. I'm almost tempted to go back and find some of my older Kalisto figures and just swap the hands. I don't care about interchangeable hands. If the hands look that ridiculously big and stupid, I'd rather have the regular hands that cannot be interchanged. And honestly, those hands, they are ridiculously stupid. Just look at the size of his forearm. His hand is like twice the width of his forearm. That's like reverse Popeye syndrome right there. I don't understand how Mattel could get something that wrong with the hands, and it only gets worse on some figures. Taking a look at his belt piece, it is done in a blue plastic with some really nice gold. Really do like the dragon decals right there, and then it does look like a rising sun. Now, this is another thing I'm not a fan of, especially with Kalisto. They molded his legs in skin-colored plastic, which is okay, but there's tights. These are tights. You can see folds right here. These are supposed to be ring tights, not bare skin, and it does draw your eye to these folds. Like, why does he have folds in his skin? Why does he have a giant seam in the middle of his leg? That's not a seam from the mold process, because that is too big. It's terrible. Look how small the seam line is supposed to be on the mold line. That is unacceptable. They really need to do separate legs when they do smaller figures, because that is terrible in all honesty. Knee pads are done pretty good for the most part. Then we get on to his kick pads, where they did a really good job with it. No complaints there. Although we have feet that have the kick pad sculpt on them, which are a little bit big. Why can't we get smaller guys with kick pads? I don't know. This doesn't have the kick pad sculpted on it. It just looks like a boot with decals on it. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a kick pad. I mean, it looks like a kick pad painted, but so many things that Mattel did absolutely wrong with this figure. But that's neither here nor there, so let's actually get them compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Kalisto posed next to an Ultimate Edition's Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And finally, here we have Kalisto posed next to the rest of Lucha House Party. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to Kalisto's articulation. He does have the standard Elite articulation, which is fine. He does have a ball joint in the head, which doesn't really look up all too well. He can look down a little bit. Doesn't make sense. He's smaller than most figures, so why is he looking down? I have no idea. Very little, if any, head tilt, so that is unfortunate. Head does turn left and right, no problem. Although you might, yeah, his head does go off at an angle, unfortunately. Arms do go out to the side really nicely, do a full 360. We do have standard bicep swivel, single bend at the elbow, no problem there. Swivel and hinge at the baseball glove. He does have an ab crunch which goes back that far. Doesn't go back at all whatsoever. It does lean forward quite a bit. We do have a swivel at the waist. Legs do go forward to about there. Kick back, go out to the side really nicely. We do have a thigh swivel, works perfectly fine. Double bend at the knee, no issues there. Boot cut swivel, we do have a hinge in the ankle which goes back about that far. Goes forward about that far, not too far forward, but we do get decent rocker ankle. So overall, is he a nice figure? He's a nice looking figure, but the more you look at him, the more things seem out of place. He's one of those memes where the longer you look at it, the more you realize what's wrong with it. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to my final thoughts and we'll wrap up this review on Kalisto. And so here we have baseball mitts, Kalisto pose for my final thoughts. And overall, I really don't know how to feel about this figure. There's things to like about it. The paint apps are pretty good. The accessories, although kind of oversized for the body, are exactly what we want. We want style pose hands, grip hands, and then extra hands. I do like the fact that the Noisemaker does spin and the Lucha House Party shirt does look good on him, but I don't know, there's stuff about this figure that I really can't honestly recommend them to you guys. If you're a fan of Lucha House Party, go ahead and pick this up, but if you already have a Kalisto in your collection, I think you're good enough with that one. At least those ones have proper size hands. They don't have that horrid tights that is sculpted in skin tone. It looks like he's wearing pantyhose. I don't know, there's really a lot of things I want to like about this figure. The paint is pretty good. The sculpt for the body is okay. But overall, I just can't recommend them unless you're trying to complete Lucha House Party. If you already have a Kalisto figure, I say you can go ahead and pass on him. But if you are missing Kalisto, go ahead and pick him up. Unfortunately, I don't have another Elite Kalisto. I passed on every single one of them, and looking back on it, I kind of regret getting this guy and kind of want an older Kalisto figure. Now, Elite 75 is getting harder to find in stores. If you were lucky enough to find it, I think Kalisto is probably the one you should avoid at all cost. Think of him like the beer bug, except in toy form. You don't want this anywhere near your collection because he will make it look worse by comparison. that's all I had to say for Kalisto. Hope you enjoyed the review, guys. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Thumbs down this video if you think Kalisto is a piece of trash. At least the figure, not the wrestler. I think the wrestler is pretty exciting, but this figure has issues. We cannot avoid those issues. As always, check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.